Hi guys, I want to tell you about the Dark Zone and the Division Resurgence. This is the second part to a two-part video series where I go over the map of the Division Resurgence. You can find the Light Zone video here. The Dark Zone is a dangerous and unforgiving place where anything goes. In this PvEvP mode, you will need to use all of your skills and abilities to survive and extract valuable loot. The Dark Zone is a large, open-world area that can be explored solo or with a group of friends. Each session lasts for 20 minutes, and during that time you'll need to collect as much contaminated loot as possible. Contaminated loot is high-value gear that can be found by clearing landmarks of enemies, opening loot boxes, or simply eliminating enemies in the Dark Zone. However, you can't equip or use contaminated loot until you extract it from the Dark Zone. To extract contaminated loot, you'll need to call an extraction at one of the designated extraction points. Once an extraction has been called, a helicopter will arrive and drop a rope down to the ground where you can attach your loot. To extract your loot, you'll need to interact with the rope and attach your contaminated items to it. Once your item has been attached, you will need to defend them for both NPCs and potentially other agents. Other players in the Dark Zone can choose to become rogue agents. Rogue agents are marked on the map for all players to see, and they can attack other players without penalty. If you're attacked by a rogue agent, you can fight back or try to run away. If you're killed by a rogue agent, you'll lose some of your contaminated loot, which will drop to the ground for them to steal from you. Now that you know what the Dark Zone is, let's talk about how to obtain loot. The first method we will cover is landmarks. Landmarks can be seen on the map as a red fist icon with an accompanying rating symbol. The higher the rank, the better quality loot you will find, but also it will be more difficult to obtain. When you engage a landmark, you will have to defeat a certain number of waves depending on the difficulty of the landmark you have engaged. Be sure not to let the enemies overwhelm you or corner you. The final wave will include a boss which will drop loot for you to extract. You will also receive loot and materials for completing the landmark that go straight into your inventory. The next method to obtaining loot is to defeat DZ enemy bosses. You will recognize them by the skull icon on your map. Each boss is assisted in defending a chest by multiple other enemy NPCs. These encounters are challenging, and you may often find yourself overwhelmed and even dying to these enemy leaders and their squads. After you defeat these leaders, you will obtain extractable loot and materials off of their bodies, as well as claiming loot from the chest that is added to your inventory. Our third method is obtaining loot from entering a contaminated area and opening any containers inside of them. These are marked by purple hazard icons on your map. Be aware that these areas have intensities, and those intensities determine how fast they degrade your filter. If your filter reaches 100%, you will start losing health. Our fourth method is to go rogue and attack other players or wait for an extraction and attempt to steal their loot. This is the most risky method, as you will always be challenging other players as well as potentially receiving additional pressure from NPCs, as the NPCs do not discriminate between players. The final icon you will see on your map is safe houses. These are orange houses containing an ammo crate, hacked SHD terminal, and lastly a smuggling ring operative. If you've gone rogue and make it to a safe house, you can spend DZ intel to return to SHD status. You can also spend DZ intel to remove your contamination level, view the location of other players, and even smuggle some of your contaminated loot if you do not wish to risk a public extraction. Lastly, there are two currencies gained from the Dark Zone. DZ intel is given to you based on your performance in the Dark Zone. Getting kill streaks, surviving, and completing other actions will reward you with intel to spend at the safe houses. The other is DZ credits. You gain these by performing those same actions as DZ intel, but it's spent at the DZ vendor in the base of operations for various items and materials. The Dark Zone is a dangerous and unpredictable place, but it's also a great place to find valuable loot and test your skills against other players. There is more Division Resurgence content on my channel. Also, there's going to be a lot more coming. Thank you guys for your love and support. I'm going to leave you with this gameplay featuring everything that I talked about earlier in this video. Alright, I'll see ya.
This is gonna be fun. Let's end this. Ha.
range. Gotta find some protection. Cover all day. The world has moved beyond assholes like you. Move it. Keep your head down. Perfect angle, perfect range. Moving to new cover. The world has moved beyond assholes like you. Perfect angle, perfect range. You have no say here. Contact! Can't take angle on him. Cover all the now. Get behind someone else. Switching out my clip. Perfect angle, perfect range. Our tech style will work. Contact!
Signature ability
Anybody
ready.
keep it covered while they move! Keep moving! Keep your head down! Perfect angle, perfect range! Pushing out my clip! Contact! Stop moving! Keep your head down! What kind of device is that? Oh, shit! They're hitting us from the other side! Cover all guys! Gotta find some protection! Solid contact!
Ability ready.
They're thinning our ranks! Cover while they move! Perfect angle, perfect range! Keep moving and keep your head down! What the fuck? Oh shit! They're hitting us from the other side! The whole... Cover all guys!
Signature ability ready.
Keep moving, but keep your head down! Contact, guys! They're trying to flank us! Moving to new cover! Perfect! Flank time's over! Keep moving, but keep your head down! Does anybody have a shot?
Trauma detected.
Cover all guys! Perfect angle, perfect range! Contact! Move your foot back! Keep moving, but keep your head down! Hit him now while they're healing! Perfect angle, perfect range! The time is over! You're a goddamn dinosaur! Cover all guys! Our tech style this work! Perfect angle, perfect range! This is the home of the brave, the land of the free, and you have... Oh! We're like you. Our tech style doesn't work.
Serious trauma detected. Signature ability ready. Helo on the way. Extraction called for. Helo at the extraction zone. Helo is on site. reception limited. Proximity coverage only.
Come on, big